So in the last class we started with our new chapter, income from capital gain. So there we discussed about what do you mean by capital asset. Then we discussed about some of the financial assets and non-financial asset. Then we discussed about types of capital gain. One is long-term capital gain and one more is short-term capital gain. Then we discussed the difference between the long-term capital gain and short-term capital gain. Then we also come across the rate of taxation for short-term capital gain as well as for long-term. Now today we are going to see some other theory portions. Transfer also we have discussed. Computation of capital gain format we have seen. Now next topic is cost of acquisition. See this? Next topic, cost of acquisition, also known as COA. COA refers to cost at which asset was acquired by the assessee. Or in the sense what you can say, cost of acquisition is equal to cost of purchase. Both same. Cost of acquisition, cost of purchase, both are similar. So now in the following cases, COA, cost of acquisition, is the cost at which it was acquired by the previous owner. That means we have to see here, they have given us several example here. In the case of HUF partition, see this, on total or partial partition of HUF, in that case COA is considered that is of previous owner, because after the partition now the property goes to several persons. Similarly, by a way of gift, inheritance, will, succession, those who have given the gift, that COA we need to consider. Then on the liquidation of company, again COA is of previous owner. On transfer of holding company to its wholly owned Indian subsidiary company, holding company and subsidiary company relationship, again here COA of a holding company we have to see, because here previous owner we have to consider. Then this is very important rule we have to see here. When the asset bought before 1/4/2001, so for example if the asset is bought in the year 1999, then where the asset was bought before 1/4/2001, the assessees can take the original COA of the asset or its fair market value, whichever is beneficial, that is usually whichever is high, COA or fair market value. Fair market value as on 1/4/2001 they will give you in the question, we have to compare, and whichever is beneficial to the assessee, that is nothing but whichever is high, that we need to consider. Then COA of bonus share, what happens now? COA of bonus share from the assessment year 1996-97 onwards, COA of bonus share shall be taken as nil. This is also very important point, because sometimes they'll give you in the question information regarding a bonus share, so there you have to consider this information. Then exemptible capital gain. Exemptible capital gain, we have discussed this earlier. It is regarding financial instruments or financial securities. See this, section 10 clause 38 of the Income Tax Act says that any income arising from the transfer of capital asset, being securities, and transaction of sale of such securities entered into an recognized stock exchange in India is exempt. But can you say me up to what amount it is exempt under section 10 clause 38?
1 lakh, sir.
1 lakh. Yes, that is correct answer. 1 lakh. Up to 1 lakh it is exempt, and after that at what rate it is taxable? Can you tell me the rate here? Long term capital gain. In the case of financial securities or financial instrument more than 1 lakh during one financial year, what is the rate of tax?
20%.
20% or 10% for this one financial instruments? This we have to see. Once again we will look back to just to know the rate here. They have mentioned that, see this, long term capital gain, a rate they have given us. So that is 20%. See this. Yes, long-term capital asset other than sale of STT paid on equity shares or mutual fund or business trust are taxable at 20%. Yes, and here they have also mentioned you, see this, sale of equity shares and equity oriented mutual fund or units of business trust held for more than 1 year on or after 1/4/2018 will be chargeable to tax at 10%. So what do you mean by this now? See, here they have specifically mentioned you other than STT. That means in all other case rate is 20% and in the case of shares rate is 10%. Whether this is clear? Whether any doubt is there here?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Here they have mentioned 10%. See this you have to remember. Then we were discussing about COA, that too COA of the particular year or fair market value as on 1/4/2001, whichever is beneficial to the SSE is considered. Next, exemptable capital gain we have seen. Now next thing, section 54 of the Income Tax Act. Now this section 54 of the Income Tax Act is specifically there for exemption of capital gain. So exemption of capital gain, for what type of capital gain exemption is provided, whether it is for short term capital gain or whether it is for long term capital gain. 54, 54B, 54EC, can you tell me?
Long-term capital gain.
Yes, it is for, yes Gaurav, it is for long term capital gain. This exemption is provided. Now one by one we need to discuss this section's exemption. Section 54. So section 54 is regarding gain on sale of residential house property. So now they have mentioned you several conditions when and all income is exempted, that we need to discuss. See this exemption is available to an individual as well as to an HUF if the amount earned by selling of residential property is invested in purchasing of another house property. Then capital gain earned by transferring the ownership of the property is exempted. That means first he needs to sell the property, then what he needs to do, he needs to invest that money in purchasing another property, then only this exemptable limit exemption is provided. But there are certain rules. See this, when the amount of capital gain does not exceed 2 crore rupees, then what we should do, if the capital gain from sale of residential house does not exceed rupees 2 crore, then the taxpayer should follow these two conditions, then only it is exempted from tax. First one, purchases two residential house in India within 1 year before or 2 year after the date of sale. So after the date of transfer is 2020, means 2000 year of transfer is 2020. That means in the year 2019 at least he should sell the he should purchase the house, or else within 2022 he should purchase the house. That is the meaning of this sentence. 2020 is a year of transfer, 2019 to 2020 he can purchase the house, or else from 2020 to 2022 he can purchase the house. Then this exemption is available. Constructs two residential house within a period of 3 years from the date of sale. That means suppose now date of sale, let us assume 31/3/2021. That means by 31/3/2024 he should construct a residential house within the period of 3 years. Yes. Then if the above investment is not made before filing the income tax or before the date of filing returns, taxpayer should deposit that amount in CGAS scheme, that is capital gain account scheme is there. So separate account, there he can invest that money. So if he invests money in a CGAS scheme, capital gain account scheme, again there is exemption is provided. So that you have to remember. Then one more thing here they have given you, if the house, that to new house, is sold within 3 years from the date of purchase or construction, then the cost of the asset will be reduced by the capital gain exempted earlier for computing the capital gain. This we need to see while solving the problem. So we may come across this type of adjustment. There we need to discuss regarding this. Then capital gain account scheme. So now CGAS scheme, they have mentioned some of the rules for CGAS. See this scheme is open for all the taxpayer who wishes to claim the exemption under 54, section 54, section 54B, section 54D, section 54F, section 54G or section 54GB. So now section 54 we know it is for residential house. So here we have discussed about section 54. See this, gains on sale of residential house property. Now you need to tell me regarding section 54B. What is it? Section 54B, anyone? If you know, you can tell me. Section 54B. Exemption available under section 54B is for what? It is for agricultural land. Here exemption is available for agricultural land. So there we have to see the rules. Then section 54F, other than the residential house, proportionate exemption is provided. Then again, these are not that important. 54G, 54GB, 54D, but usually you come across 54EC. 54EC is regarding investment in bonds. 54EC, that also we need to remember. So very important section here: 54, 54B, 54EC, 54F. Yes. Then they have given you one more condition. If the taxpayer could not invest the capital gain to acquire the new asset before the due date of furnishing of returns, the capital gains can be deposited before the date of furnishing income in the deposit account in which any branch of the nationalized bank in accordance with the CGAS scheme 1988. So this scheme was introduced in the year 1988. That is also mentioned, that we need to remember. So now next thing we need to discuss regarding section 54B. So these rules are whatever we discussed now, rules, that is for section 54. Now 54B we need to see this now. Section 54B, this exemption is available only to individual and HUF only, Hindu undivided family only. Now conditions for section 54B we have to see. It is related to agricultural land. So now if in the question they have mentioned you regarding agricultural land, then you have to apply this 54B. See this, agricultural land to be transferred should be in urban area. This is very important. Land should be in urban area, land to be transferred. Then it must have been used in 2 years immediately preceding the date of transfer for agricultural purpose, either by the assessee or by his parent. So if it is not used, then it is very difficult to determine that is it has a agricultural land. So that is why at least there should be some agricultural activities during the 2 years preceding the date of transfer. Then within the 2 years from the date of transfer, another agricultural land should be purchased. So then only this 54B is applicable. Then the amount not utilized should be deposited to CGAS, capital gain account scheme. So here it is ulta, it is written CGAS, capital gain account scheme. So that is same. If you see the rules for 54, that is same. Again 54B also same thing. If he has not done any investment, he can keep the amount here, CGAS. Then the new land is not sold within the period of 3 years from the date of its purchase. It should not be sold. If it is sold, what happens? Along with the fresh capital gain, previously exempted capital gain also taxed in the year of such a transfer as a short-term capital gain. So this adjustment we need to discuss while solving the problem. So the rule you have to remember as of now regarding section 54B. See this, fresh capital gain and previously exempted capital gain is also taxed in the year of such transfer as short-term capital gain. Then next information here we need to discuss regarding deduction from capital gain on compulsory acquisition of land and building forming a part of industrial undertaking, section 54D. So section 54D relates to, see this once again I am telling you, compulsory acquisition of land and building forming a part of industrial undertaking. So now this exemption is available for all types of SSC, but if you see the previous two exemption is only for individual and HUF, but here it is applicable to all. So now there must be compulsory acquisition of land and building or any right in land and building forming a part of an industrial undertaking. So there should be compulsory acquisition, they have said. Then the asset must have been used in the 2 years immediately preceding the date of transfer of the SSC for the purpose of the business. So this rule, if you see, for every section it is there, 2-year rule, and after the sale 3-year rule. So it is common for almost every exemption. Then within a period of 3 years after the date of transfer, any other land or building or any right in land and building is purchased on constructed for the industrial undertaking existing or newly set up. If these three conditions are satisfied, then exemption is available under 54D. Then again they have given you some other adjustment. See this: if the new asset is not sold or not transferred within 3 years from the date of purchase or construction, it should not be sold. If it is sold, what happens? Similar to the previous exemption, within the 3 years, along with the fresh capital gain, previously exempted capital gain will also be taxed as short-term capital gain. So this rule is applicable for previous exemption as well, 54B as well. Then the amount deposited is not fully utilized for acquiring new land and building within 3 years. The amount not so utilized shall be transferred as long-term capital gain or short-term capital gain of the previous year in which the specified period expires. Further, the amount deposited has to be withdrawn as per the schedule. So now why we are discussing all these sections? Because in your examination pattern there is 16 mark question, one theory question is there. Because 16 mark, there are total 4 questions, 3 practical problem and 1 theory question. So there you may get this type of question: explain the exemptions under section 54, section 54B, 54EC, 54F. So in that case what you have to do, you have to write all these rules. So it is very difficult, I know it is very difficult to write exactly whatever it is given in the book. So you have to remember, you have to go through these rules, so then you can write. And some of the adjustments are similar, so same type of adjustments you can write for both exemption, like 54B also you can write, 54D also you can write. So that we need to discuss. See this now. Next thing, 54EC. 54EC regarding deduction from capital gain on acquisition of certain bonds. So now in the case of bonds, what happens? We need to see the rule here. Asset is transferred is a long-term capital asset, that is nothing but long-term capital gain. Then only you can give this exemption. If there is a long-term capital gain, then you can give this exemption, provided within a period of 6 months from the date of transfer the amount of capital gain should have been invested in specified bond. That means if the date of transfer is 31/3/2021, next 6 months you should count next 6 months: April, May, June, July, August, September. By September 30, 2021, you should invest in a specified bond. What do you mean by specified bond? Here they have given you the explanation for the specified bond. One is Rural Electrification Limited bond, or National Highway Authority of India bond, or Power Finance Corporation bond, or else Indian Railway Finance Corporation bond, or any other bonds notified by Government of India. So in the question what they will give you, they just say that within 6 months he has invested in specified bond. So directly you can consider this for exemption. So that you have to remember under section 54 EC. Then one more condition they have said, SSE shall not transfer or convert or avail loan or advance on the securities of the above bonds within a period of 3 years from the date of its acquisition or from the date of its purchase. You can say he should not transfer or should not avail loan on securities on this above bonds. Then maximum amount in the investment or maximum amount of investment in bonds shall not exceed 50 lakh during any financial year. If it is exceeds 50 lakh, then exemption is limited to 50 lakhs. If it is 60 lakh rupees, exemption is limited up to 50 lakh rupees. That's it. More than that is not allowed as exemption. Remaining 10 lakh rupees is taxable. So that you have to keep in mind regarding 54 EC, investment in specified bond. 54B, agricultural land. 54 regarding sale of a residential house. 54D, compulsory acquisition. Like that you have to remember. Then 54F. So now 54F, if you see, gains from sale of an asset other than residential house property is used to buy a residential house. So 54 is for residential house property, we know. But suppose sometimes in the question they will give you land, just land they will mention, or plot they will mention. They won't specify whether it is agricultural land or not. So in that case, what we need to do here, you can consider 54F. Why, I will tell you. Here they have given you certain rules. All individuals and HUF are eligible to claim deductions, provided they should satisfy these conditions. See this, the capital gain should be from a sale of long-term capital asset. Same point was there in the previous exemption as well. Same thing you have to consider. Then which is not a residential house. What is different here? It is not a residential house. Transfer of a plot. Plot in the sense, you can say it is a land. Transfer of plot is also eligible for deduction. Then within 1 year before or 2 years after the sale or transfer of concerned asset, SSE purchases or within 3 years construct the residential house by investing the net consideration. So now here this rule you have to remember. Why? Because this rule is very important. Every section, every exemption section, this rule is there. See this, date of sale immediately preceding that 1 year or next 2 year, he should purchase any land, or else what he should do, he should purchase house, or else within 3 years after the date of sale he should construct the house by investing net consideration. Net consideration in the sense sales, selling expenses incidental to sale, that may be given in the problem. So now after that, if the proportion of sales proceeds exceeds, it is utilized in acquiring the new house, the exemption available will be proportionate. So proportionate exemption, how to calculate? There is one formula they have given you. So before that we need to see one more rule, that is taxpayer should not own more than one residential house on the transfer of a sale. So if he owns more than one residential house, then this exemption is not available. Then the taxpayer should not purchase any residential house within 2 years or construct residential house within 3 years from the date of sale. So this also you have to see. Now formula they have given you, capital gain amount into cost of new house given in the question divided by net sales consideration. If you do, you will get a proportionate exemption under section 54F. So that is regarding this one. See this net sales consideration, how to calculate? Sales minus selling expenses. Sales minus selling expenses, or sales consideration minus selling expenses. If you do, you will get net sales consideration. So these are theory parts in this chapter you need to know. So now tell me, any questions?
No, sir.
Anvit, Gaurav, Anand, Pragati, Anuj,
No doubt.
Anumanta, Shravya, Suraksha. So
No,
now,
sir.
what we are going to do, now we are going to see one problem. See this one problem, we'll see very small problem of 4 mark. So now you will understand better. See this problem number 1. Mr. Sumant sold the residential house for 25 lakh in November 2018. So this is nothing but sales value they have given, and date is also given, year and date, that is a month and date is mentioned. 25 lakh is a sales consideration, we know. Then this house was purchased in 2003-4 for 5 lakh rupees. Cost of acquisition, that is also given 5 lakh. He spent 40,000 in 2006-7 for addition of the house. That is nothing but cost of improvement. Addition is something you can consider it as cost of improvement. Then selling expenses they have directly given you in the problem, that is 20,000. So either you can yes, you can deduct this from the sales consideration. Then he immediately purchases another house in July 2019. So what is the sale year now? 2018 November. Within 6 months or within 7 months he purchases the another house, and he deposited 1,50,000 in CGAS, capital gain account scheme. Compute the taxable capital gain provided CII, cost inflation index, for 2003-4 is 109, 2006-7 is 122, and 2018-19 is 280. So what is this? 109, 122, 280. So this they will give you in the question. It is the index. Every year it increases. It started from the year 2001. So that is a base year. At that time the index was 100. So now it is increasing every year. Why? Because we know that there is a inflation, isn't it? So that is why it is increasing every year. So now if you see, after discussing this, one thing we have to understand here, after the sale he has purchased the another house 7,50,000. Whether this is eligible for exemption under section 54, can anyone tell me? Yes, tell me whether that is eligible for exemption under section 54. After the sale he has purchased the house. So in the case of purchase we have to see the rule. So now let us see the rule once again, what they have said under section 54 exemption. Then you will come to know. See this section 54, they have said purchases two residential house in India within 1 year before or 2 years after the date of sale, or constructs two residential house within a period of 3 years from the date of sale. Now we know that within 2 years or within 3 years from the date of sale he has to purchase the house. So here he has purchased within 6 or 7 months. So here exemption is available. Then similarly CGAS is there, right? Capital gain account scheme. That is obviously there is exemption is provided. That is 1,50,000. This is the amount he has not utilized for investing in the house. So that he has kept in CGAS. So now see the computation part of taxable capital gain. If you see here, first you have to write sales consideration. Sales consideration is nothing but sale amount that is in the year 2018 November given in the question, that is 25 lakh rupees. Less, why we need to index it? So here this question regarding long term capital gain. Why it is long term capital gain? We have to remember the rule. If it is more than 24 month, so here house property is given more than 24 month, we know. Why? Because cost of acquisition is 2003-4, selling in the year 2018, obviously it is more than 24 month or 2 year. So it is long term capital gain. Whenever there is a long term capital gain, we have to do the indexation. That means we have to see the CII, cost inflation index. So here CII is mentioned in the problem. So now first one you have to deduct from the sales consideration is indexed cost of acquisition. So in the case of short term capital gain, just you have to minus cost of acquisition, but here indexed cost of acquisition you have to write. And here cost of acquisition given in the question 2003-4, that is 5 lakh rupee. 5 lakh into sale year CII we want. Sale year CII is nothing but 2018-19 CII, cost inflation index, 280, that is in the numerator, divided by purchase year CII. Purchase year CII is given here 109, that is in the denominator. So now 5 lakh into 280 divided by 109, if you do, you will get 12,84,404. That is indexed cost of acquisition you have to deduct from the sales consideration. Then next thing you have to do, similar thing, that is one more deduction you need to do, indexed cost of improvement. Cost of improvement in the year 2006-7, that is 40,000. 40,000 into sale year CII. Sale is made in the year 2018. CII for that year is 280 divided by purchase or the addition made in the year 2003-4, right? So that year CII we want. So addition when it is made, sorry, 2006-7 addition is made. So 2006-7 CII we want in the denominator, that is 122. So 40,000 into 280 divided by 122. You will get indexed cost of improvement 91,803. Then after that, selling expenses, you can write like this: expenses incidental to transfer, that is directly given 20,000. So these three information compulsorily you have to minus in the case of long term capital gain. So that we have deducted from sale. So if you add these three information, 12,84,404, 91,803 and 20,000, you will get 13,96,207. that you need to deduct from 25 lakh. So now long term capital gain is 11,03,793. But we know SSE is eligible for certain exemption, so that exemption we need to deduct from long term capital gain. So now here we need to deduct, see this first thing, exemption under section 54 minus deposit in CGAS, capital gain account scheme, that is 1,50,000. you can write this a second also, no problem. Then cost of new house, that is eligible for exemption, 7,50,000. These two exemption you have to deduct. Total exemption amount is 9 lakh rupees, that you need to deduct from 11,03,793. Finally you will get taxable long term capital gain, that is nothing but 2,03,793. So this is a 4-mark problem. This is how you are going to solve this problem. Any question